The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Roto Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Good morning, everybody. Chris is having a couple of internet issues, so he should hopefully be able to join us, but might take him a minute to get it ironed out. So you got me to start with. So hello, how are we doing? Hey, David, how are you? Mario, nice to see you again. Morning team never wrong. Yep, that's us. Yeah, I've got to go up and I've got to go up and fix his Wi-Fi, I think. Morning, Nevin, how are you doing? Nico, nice to see you. Kirk, thank you. Eli, nice to see you too. Yeah, so we had an original idea for this show. Oh, here we go. Maybe. Chris is looking like he's got headphones on, so this could be dangerous. He's still messing around with that, so we'll leave him for a minute. Yeah. So, the original idea for this show was we were going to do a watch along with the Lucky Larson. The only problem is they're not bowling right now because their squad times were slightly different. They were slightly different today than they were the other day when they were bowling. So there's nothing for us to show you. So that kind of shit on this idea of a show. Chris, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. Hello.
We're getting close. Hi, how are you?
Oh, you sound good.
Okay.
So, yeah. I was just saying we were going to have the watch along with the show. And then we realized, oh, they changed their times. So they don't start for another hour. So there isn't anything to watch. We could watch the lane machine going down, I guess, if they've got a live stream of that. Mr. Internet, good morning. I don't know. It looks pretty spot on this morning now. So maybe his phone is better than the.
Yeah, we got it up and running again. So.
Oh, maybe it just needed a reset.
My router just needed a reset, I guess, this morning. I'm not sure. But
yeah, I actually had my previous setup. I actually had it on a reset at like 4 a.m. twice a week. It could program itself to reset itself in the middle of the night. So it cleared out shit like that. If my pap is 5 over and 2.5 down, are you two-handed?
Has to be.
That would be my first question. Because if you're not, you're going to be clubbing some fingers. Yes. Then isn't that fairly normal?
Yeah.
You're not hearing me?
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just the way you started grabbing your ears. I was like, no, that doesn't really tell you anything about your tilt, to be honest, from my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, you have an inverted track, but that's pretty
normal for two-handers.
Yeah. I mean, what you see is guys that kind of use their shoulder a lot to throw it, get on the outside of it a little bit, and then they backload it to control it. And that's what ends up keeping your roll forward. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, and then as your elbow gets further and further in up behind it, then you can move your track down off of it a little bit more. Yes, I don't know what's going on this morning because now my audio won't go through my laptop either. So it is
Don't know. You look cute.
Technology Thursday. Yeah, it's yeah, right.
Why aren't we Lucky Larsoning? For me, simply just because the long view is the same time, and I've done quite well historically in Longview, and financially driving 4 hours to play a tournament that pays $5,000 a person for winning is better than flying on a plane for 12 hours that pays $15,000 for winning, principally.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Ryan and I, and then Linda went too. But we spent a little over $4,000, and basically both had to make the cut. And he made the top 16 for us to make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Barely profit. And the days of me showing up and finishing in the top 16 just because, well, I'm here. those days are not now. And so, if you go over there and it turns into a urethane fest, then you really can end up behind the 8 ball. It doesn't appear that's going to be the case, but it is going to be the left gutter cap.
Yeah, and I also think that part of the fun of those tournaments isn't necessarily bowling the actual tournament; it's the experiences that you get. And I've had a lot of experiences. Principally, Chris is in the same boat, I think.
Yeah, we've been to all these places once or twice, and the fun of being 23 and being over there and maybe going to Copenhagen midweek and playing golf and going out the clubs and doing all that stuff is a lot more fun at 23 than at 55. Yeah, it's
I think Sweden's overrated as well anyway, so I'm just putting it out there.
Mika agrees with you. This just in.
Yeah.
No, if I went, I would bowl. But I just know that a lot of the moon and stars has to align. Where before, when we were going to bowl those World Bowling Tour events 8 years ago, 10 years ago, still I was, you're going to bowl and was going to make the top 16. It felt like in all of them. And you were just hoping to make 1 or 2 step ladders. And that's where the profit was. The top 16, you break even. And
so overrated. Do you know what I think's the most finished thing ever, by the way, is the fact that the Ballmaster is the first weekend of January in Helsinki. It's the most finished thing ever. Fuck you. We don't care if you want to come or not. I remember I went to Finland to bowl a tournament with Passy, and it was like September, and I was like, holy shit, you actually have ground, not just permanent snow. I didn't, it was the most surreal thing ever because I didn't recognize anywhere, because every time I'd ever been, it was white everywhere. So yeah, it's so on brand for Finland that, like, hey, come and bowl our tournament, but you can come at the shittest time possible. It's freezing.
The piles of snow that has been plowed on the side of the road is literally 20 feet high.
And no also kidding. Like, to the point that if you fall into it, you'll probably break something because it's hard as shit.
Oh, yeah, it's just been frozen forever.
Because I didn't realize until I went to Finland in January that snow could then refreeze. It only snows when it's hot. Yeah. Yes, that's kind of what we're saying. The juice is not worth the cheese. Johnny, my man, nice to see you. Oh dear.
Somebody wants to know what would it take for the Weber Cup to come back? A big sponsor, and some of the logistics would have to be easier.
And it would have to be renamed the Duke Cup or something, because Matchroom probably aren't going to release the name, and they're almost certainly not going to run the tournament. So,
yeah.
That's pretty much the way that sort of shit goes. So, somebody asked a ball question. Oh, here we go. Physics Blackout, Equinox, Attention Star, Trend. Woo. Hype Solid and Road Warrior. Any gaps or recommendations to add? I mean, Physics Blackout isn't the strongest ball at the top of the bag, but again, like we talk about quite a bit, if you don't use it that much, then it's probably the right ball to be at the top of the bag. Outside of that, no, I think you have a fairly good mix. I would say though that I think that Hype Solid and Road Warrior at the bottom of the bag are quite strong if Physics Blackout's the correct ball at the top of the bag. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're saying if Physics Blackout's there, then they're not super, super tight anywhere you bowl.
Or
Of course,
you've got low speed.
Yeah, and it could also mean that, hey, you don't bowl them much except 3 games a league. You're not bowling longer formats. And so at that point, yeah, you might not need anything down on the lower end. Or if you're soft enough rev rate, then the big balls like Ion Max and those are too lazy. And so you just have to use more surface on something that's a little quicker. The trend would be the one ball I'd probably upgrade from out of that mix. And I mean, there are some pretty good options in there. You have Ion Pro Solid is probably, kind of judging by some of the other balls you like, could be an option. Ember actually would be a nice add.
Ember would be the one that I would suggest.
Yeah, it actually flares a little bit more than that. So, and I'm a big fan. I just did another ball review yesterday that should be up soon, and that Ember is looking like the real deal. A little taller, a little stronger. The Ryan League drill, but holy smokes, of that thing! And Louisville is about as easy as it's ever been. So,
no, I think you've got everything covered there.
you throw one and then you throw the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely covered there.
And hard no.
Yeah, what the fuck would he have to do with Europe versus USA?
I just say he couldn't bowl in it. It just there's just so many things that doesn't work about that. They were trying to find a way to get him in for quite a while. It just doesn't really.
Yeah, the thing was they were trying to get him in, and then the thing was we started winning every time, and then they were really confused as to which side they should put him on. Because they were like, but the Americans are way better, so why would we but the Europeans keep winning? This is very confusing.
Well, the best way to get a team to lose was to put Belmo on it. So it's the only thing he ever loses. But there's a lot of singles points. I don't know. We wouldn't want any part of him in that.
I was about to say he busted his cherry. He won the team this year.
He did. He was going to. That's become a popular talking point, but it's probably. He did bowl for Team Australia, which wasn't exactly coming in with a loaded gun for a long time. So it's kind of like, if Tom Brady played for the, I don't know, the Jets for all that time, probably wouldn't have, 6 Super Bowls. And Mahomes probably wouldn't either if he played for the Raiders. Just.
The Browns is the obvious go-to because it doesn't seem to matter, like what happens.
Well, the Jets are the ultimate quarterback killers, but
the Browns are the literal NFL definition of fucking up a wet dream. But anyway, solid thoughts on changing surface-wise. I actually quite like where it fits in the bag, and I think that when I've added surface to it, it stops it from being special. I think it's quite unique and quite useful for us in the gap that it fits while shiny. And when I dull it, it just becomes way more like balls I already have. Does that kind of fit with you as well?
Yeah, I hate to agree with you, but in this case, team never wrong.
Yeah. It's just
I tried it because I thought, hey, I got a couple of balls down in this low range I already like. And it was a little closer than I wanted to a couple. So hey, I'll just move it up. And then it looked like a ball that was a little early, pushed me a little far left. And then the fact that it didn't flare as much as some of those other balls, like Rockstar balls that were also symmetrical, it just looked weaker down lane. And so I don't mind, breaking it a little bit with 2000 maybe, but I don't think I would go past that. I mean, really lightly, just enough to just put a little scratch in the polish, but I'll actually leave some polish on it. I took a new 2000 and actually made it kind of semi-dull, the old smooth, but not polished, and it became very average pretty quick.
Where is it in your gap? For me, I like it as kind of that ball that's below kind of my XL when I don't want to use a ball as quick as, say, an attention star. When I want something that's a little cleaner, but it offers me a decent amount of control. I think it works out pretty well then. So that could be early on in blocks, when it's just it's a little hard to get the sort of dull or asymmetrical through it. But quite equally, I used it late on in Hallmark this weekend when we were bowling that doubles to kind of like throw it kind of straight through the front part of the lane because I felt like there was still a decent bit of oil that you could kind of hold off. But if you started opening your angle, it kind of made the lanes feel like super over under and like really difficult to control the pocket. Like you miss in and it would just wiggle. And then you're like, oh, I'll just open my angle up a little bit. And then it was 6 through the face. So I kind of just moved my feet right and my eyes left and just bumped the friction and then bumped the oil. And then it was very good for that also. Whereas attention star probably would have 4-pin because it would have been a little quick off it. So that's kind of the gap I use it in. What about you, Chris? Are you sort of seeing it in similar?
Yeah, I think you look at the numbers, you think it fits down at the bottom end of the bag because it's polished in that, but it's a ball it's below rock star for me in that kind of controllable, that medium control. It's benchmark and it's polished, so it's probably a little below, like say Rockstar Equinox and those type of balls, but not much because it's stronger in the mid lane. Like I said, it's pretty controllable. So
Yeah. I mean, it's like I say, it's yeah. I just find it very useful in multiple different spots. Roger. Sorry to say, guys, but you PBA guys need to make a stand to Bowlero. What they are doing to the sport and the Special Olympics has got me fired up. Yeah, there was a story on Facebook just yesterday, I think, where Bowlero had done some of their usual type of scenario with having long-term contracts that they'd inherited for Special Olympics things, and then trying to limit the amount of lanes they could have, and putting the price up, and then not getting back to them, and all of the rest of it.
I hadn't seen that yet.
While I agree with you, Roger, what do you suggest we do? I'm serious. You say that we have to make a stand, but what's the stand that we need to make? Like, why are they going to listen to us? What are we going to do? What are we going to achieve? Like, there's lots of things I wish they didn't do. I wish they didn't open at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I wish they didn't switch the lights off in the bowling centers all the time. I wish bowling wasn't as expensive, but like, they supply the tournaments that we bowl. So we're not going to stand outside and picket fence and like have signs and stuff. So I'm serious. What do you expect me and Chris to do? Like, I'm not necessarily having to go at you. I'm just,
no,
I hear this a lot. Like, oh, you guys shill for Bowlero or whatever. But they own so many of the bowling centers. We have to find a way to work with them, not against them, because there isn't. Yeah.
I mean, other than bringing some things to light, because it is a massive corporation, and there are people who are not great managers, everywhere. And when you have 350 of them, the chances are you probably have 5% that are not making decisions that probably Bowlero even wants. It's hard enough to make a one size fits all go across the country because what works in New York doesn't work in Ohio.
Well, I think this also was they were trying to deal with because it was a large booking. This is a corporate thing that they do, and a lot of those Special Olympics type events are generally a mutually beneficial goodwill gesture in the local center. Like if you go in, pretty much bowling is one of the most friendly special needs activities. Like for professional bowlers, we see it probably more than most because we're in bowling centers a lot more of the day. It's not like we're working 9 to 5 and then going at
Right.
5 o'clock. We're in there in the morning, and like I see a lot of the same kids, adults who are coming in with the group.
Yeah, when the bus comes
Um,
on Tuesday and they bowl in the afternoon for an hour, and
and it's
and
and
that
it's
number
like it's
of
everywhere. It was the same when I was in England.
yeah, the
So
pro-ams, yeah, the kids, the autistic kids loved that the habitual and repeating process is therapeutic, and it's amazing to watch. And there's the most fun pro-ams I bowled almost every year were those pro-ams. They were so happy to be there. Occasionally somebody knew who you were, but it didn't really matter. You were the person that they had to follow. and,
mhm.
but they were just it reminds you of how much that people can love bowling and how much fun it can be. And so I just yeah.
But
But
it
us
looks like
going in and telling them how to run their business for profit,
yeah.
it, you know,
But it looks like Rogers had a drive-by, so he wasn't really here for being part of the discussion. He was just here to yell at me.
uh
So thanks, Roger.
okay. Okay.
Anyway, I named this show "Which Coach is Right for You,"
Yeah.
and I thought that it could be interesting for me and you to kind of debate. I guess red flags, like when you're dealing with a coach, because it's very difficult and to find the right guy, and the right guy isn't necessarily the right guy for everybody.
I'd
Um,
agree with that.
I think that the more experience the guy has of doing lessons, in general, is going to be um, useful. Um, but at the same time, it might be that for some people, a pro bowler is absolutely useless as a coach for them. But it could also be that he has that information that because from bowling all the time, we pick up, like we have conversations with Baker all the time, and Baker's like, oh, I never thought, he'll say, oh, do this and this will change everything. And we'll say to him, yeah, but that doesn't work because of X, Y, and Z. And he's like, oh, I never really thought about that because he's just not bowling all of the time now. And that's what's cool about him is he kind of adapts to the information he picks up and the feedback he gets from clients and whatever. So what are the things that give you this sort of like, ooh, when you're with coaches?
Yeah, the one size fits all thing.
Yeah.
And at this point, people who teach on a push away system are tough for me because I don't fit into any of those. Nobody says, "Hey, wait until the start of your,
Mm-hmm.
almost you're into your third step before you drop it in." Nobody, you know. I used to ask this because at one time I was the guest at a lot of different clinics, and I'd say, "Well, am I good because of or in spite of?" And I got some great answers because the people that coach a lot are not dumb, you know, but who they see and what they were. But Mike Jazz now has a system that he has areas that he looks at that are different from Baker's, and largely because of his setup on that lane 81, where
Mm-hmm.
the camera was on the side in the third step. It was kind of where he kind of judged a lot of his stuff.
For those of you guys who don't know,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got
the
off.
lane 81 was the lane inside the pro shop in Reno. Just just for reference, unless you're like, what the fuck is lane 81?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Guys who've done it for a long time, guys who have not done it for as long, say if you went a lesson from Ryan and he knows some things, but it's with the things he knows, it's going to be about two-handed bowling and his
Yeah.
own experiences. So if you throw it somewhat like him, want to be like that, that's a pretty good guy to get some real life. Hey, I've walked through this path, and he's done it all recently,
Mhm.
and so there's some great things to learn there. If you're not, an engineering brain type, and none of this comes very natural, probably you need to go to a more experienced coach. Baker is one of the few guys in jazz now, and there's a few others that can coach tour level guys, but the meat of their business is actually the 140 to 190 average bowler. And that's a very difficult group to coach without having coached a pretty fair amount.
Yeah, because there's so many commonalities in the mistakes that you're making, that it's much quicker. I think that you're going to get much quicker feedback from somebody who's doing it all the time, because they're going to go, oh yeah, 75% of people, this fixes this. Whereas for me and you, we're seeing like 2 or 3 a month maybe who have this same issue.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, they might have had 3 different options. And we don't know which is the best one, because we don't know which was the most common mistake. So I think that if you're at a point where you want to understand your the on the lanes more rather than physical, I think that talking to better bowlers is often a good idea. But if you're really struggling with your physical game, probably asking the best guy in the building what I should do probably isn't necessarily asking the guy who does the most lessons is probably a better idea than asking the guy who knocks over the most pins. Like,
Yeah, I think we're all great at something, and generally speaking, the best coaches have some experience at both. But largely, why they coach is because there was some reason why they didn't get to the level they wanted to get to,
yeah,
and they kept diving after it. I think you could argue that Baker was probably more talented and probably a better player overall than Randy Peterson, but Randy had a much better career.
mm-hmm.
And Mark, that was hard for Mark to figure out, and so he started diving into it, and then that turned into a second career.
The other thing I don't particularly like is when I hear coaches talking and they have you doing the same thing for 15 minutes and keep saying, no, you're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
That's a red flag for me. I understand that we've got to like try and I guess I should preface this by saying once you get to a certain level, like if you're above 180, shall we say, but like there are very few things that you need to do like for 20 minutes straight where you're getting it slightly wrong.
Yeah.
The guy just needs to come up with a different way of trying to tell you the same thing. So if they just keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, they're probably
Right.
just training you off a sheet rather than having a like.
Well, here's my red flag of red flags.
Okay.
If you start with the phrase, you have to get worse so you can get better, we're done. There's only better. I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not into that one, Chief. Like,
Nope.
I'm not paying you to lower my average.
Nope. And then so I can raise it back 10 pins. You say, hey, look, you got better. No, I got back to where I was.
Yeah. And I just
That's
do
all I
it
did.
prettier now.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's more aesthetically pleasing to you. And, I think as a player, you have to be receptive to the information. But, if the coach is basically berating you for not doing it.
Yeah, I just think that like when you just spend a lot of time being told that no, you're not quite there yet, or when they ask you, like you were talking about pushing the ball away, oh, if only you're just pushing it away a little bit too late. And I'm just like if the guy's gonna tell me like something logical, like to me, I'm a fairly logical person, and I think like it's kind of hard. Like changing your push away is a bit like taking your stopwatch and being able to hit it exactly on a second. Like you're not going to do it very often. Like it's, you know what I mean? You're going to be a bit off either way. If the guy says to you, you know, hey, you're a bit early with your timing, push the ball up a little bit. I'm like, I mean, I can sort of deal with that because logically to me that makes sense because you're making your swing a little bit longer. Like, okay, yeah. Like, oh, you're super late. If you push the ball more down in your swing, it's going to be further along in your swing. Like logically, that makes sense to me. Like, and that's something that's fairly controllable, like push up or push down. Like, okay, changing whether I step and then push or push and then step is like basically impossible. It's like saying I'm going to change my axis point. It's like, yeah, I might be able to do it for one shot, but not repeatedly.
It takes a different level of practice. That's basically what I did a little bit after college because my push away was always a problem, direction. And so that's why I do what I do. It's because, okay, well, if I can't get it right after bowling these 80 games a week for 4 years, then I'm just going to eliminate it. So, see, yeah, this is a good take. I would add Jazz now of the guys that I've worked with at the very top of the pinnacle. I think these guys are
I enjoyed chatting to Bill Hall also.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed Ron Hoppy over the years. I think they all add something pretty unique viewpoints and a collaboration of all those kind of things. You know, Hoppy's way into the mental side of things, and
there you go. One of the smartest guys says he likes chatting with Benoit. Yeah, I like I say, to me, I definitely owe getting through the tour trials to Rick. He prepared me for understanding what it was. I think some of the things I needed to understand to start with, and I think yeah, I think once I got that base level, it's like everything else. There are certain things that work for me, and there are certain things that don't. And that's once you get to a certain level, it's like quite an important skill set being able to take what is useful information as opposed to what is like other information and being able to, you know, use that in your game.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Benoit brought to me early on. And speaking of a guy who got better, he's way smarter than his brother about pretty much all things bowling. His brother being Bob, but Rick could never. He wasn't as talented as a bowler as Bob was, but that kind of led him down this whole path. But he taught me a lot about how to process information and see what I was seeing, and he saw it in such a different way than I did, and and more artistically, and I was much more black and white, and the melding of the two certainly. My first year on tour was an interesting, he had the bottom half of the Brunswick staff, and I was one of the few guys that was making the top 24 a lot. And so we spent a lot of time getting to practice because I was in 16th or 18th place and not really in any place to make the show, and just getting to try things. And he sped up my whole learning curve exponentially that first year.
Expect you guys to speak up and stop drinking and smacking your mouth. I don't really understand this second part, but I think that
I guess that's this. Maybe I'm not supposed to drink anything.
Yeah, but I think that you know what the fuck you're talking about. Chris challenges them in a way that is productive, way more than anybody else. And going on Facebook, I can assure you, us going on Facebook and bashing them for what they did will 100% drive them in the opposite direction. They're unbelievably stubborn, and that is their, I guess, that's the line they drew in the sand, the Facebook thing, and they don't like that, and it won't be in any way productive. So I just giving you a heads up. Like the info that we've got and the feedback that we've had much better I guess much better results when we've actually had direct conversations with them about it rather than it being a cryathon on Facebook about everything. So
Cole, who would you suggest is best coaching for the price point? Any underrated coaches that you know of? I live with one. She actually is a really good coach, and she was one of the reasons I got back on track. But Linda coaches doesn't charge a ton, and I think she's at the maybe $75 price point, which at this point is, and she's been doing it a while.
Hey, if it's $75 and you get the bowling thrown in, according to a lot of these people on Facebook, you're not even paying for the coaching.
Yeah, that includes the bowling. After it seems like a lot in the bowling world, and then you remember how much I spent on a 11-year-old's hitting lesson with some guy who played 5 minutes at JUCO D3 college ball.
It's all relative.
And then you go, yeah, that's what he charged me for an hour.
Yeah, I've seen the announcement, Adam. I'm guessing that it's just a Pearl Absolute, but in pink. It's a cool thing that Storm do each year. It's like, it's $300. And they do 300 balls and they donate the $90,000 to, I think, it's one of the cancer societies in Utah. It's been a really good, rewarding program. It does sadden me a little bit when I read some of the comments about it and people complaining and like, oh, I think it's super cool that Storm used the their customers' money as a write-off and like all sorts of nonsense like that. And it's just like, at this point, I don't know what you want them to do. Like, it's a good thing. It's a bit of fun. Like they produce some cool products that people get to buy. They're not forcing anybody to buy it. Like,
yeah,
if
it's a cause and you want to donate to it, here's an excuse.
Yeah. And if you don't,
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which coach could get me to the level of Tim Pfeiffer? Never throws a bad shot. It's just the wrong ball. Well, I mean, he does have some left-handed tendencies. I'll give him that.
I mean, Tim Pfeiffer has a strong mental game because he keeps turning up, keeps getting his face bounded in, and keeps coming back. Love you, Timmy. I mean,
he gives it pretty good too. I like that about him. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy with unique timing, obviously, and made it work for a long time.
Yeah, so, should we have your little bit of a your semi apology to Sean for the other day?
I might have Papa Beared that just a little bit.
Yeah.
When I talked to Ryan later, that was out of context. Watching the one shot, it looked like something like, and it's 100%. If you'd have done it to me, I wouldn't even blinked at it.
Yeah, I understand.
And
so, but you probably wouldn't have told me good shot. You'd have been like, "Get the fuck off my lane, douchebag."
I would have called you the same thing. It really wasn't. I ended up talking to Sean yesterday. Ryan said the first thing. So he walked off and walked right in front of Ryan, and Ryan bowls fast, and he's always up there. And he said, "Good shot." It's all he said to Sean on the way by, and Sean says, "Yeah, go get you one."
Yeah.
And he goes, "No problem." They'd been talking whatever. It's just a big shot, and he there's a little bit of that into it. You did it last weekend in Longview, and it is just part of it. It's way more about the fact that guy, he was there when Ryan took his first steps also. And so there's Papa Bear stuff going on there. That's
yeah.
I
So
thought I
anyway, I just thought we'd clear that up because
my first reaction was, you know, and then he's a grown he's still a little boy, and the rest of the world is like, all right, he was better than me last year. I'd really like that to not keep happening. So
I mean, like I say, I'm surprised it doesn't happen to us more often. To the people who are criticizing it and taking it a little bit out of proportion or whatever, like going to the nth degree, you try talking bullshit for an hour and a half twice a week and see how many stupid things you guys say.
I say a lot, and I apologize. I just, you get exactly what comes to the front of my head, and for better, for worse. And there's times when somebody calls me, I can't believe you said that. I say, what? And then you watch and go, oh, yeah, maybe if I thought through that a little bit more, I would have said it differently. So, yeah. Speaking of procession. So,
and I do feel like the you know, the bowling world does tend to take everything like it's kind of boring. We're not really that interesting of a group. So we tend to, you know, a little bit, everybody wants to get super pumped about anything and everything that happens.
Here's a guy who does a lot of coaching these days.
Look how many views were wasted on a pineapple. So one of the restaurants, this Mexican restaurants in town is famous for their sign outside. And today's sign, Maria loves the place, so she always like retweets or whatever on Instagram on her story. But the picture today was congratulations and thank you to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce from Cracker Barrel. And that's a bit like, you know, it's just, let's just move along. Hey, Adam, I'm not sure that's the ball for you, mate. It's a lot of money to put down. It's not necessarily how can I put this? It's more of a necessarily a memento than it is a ball for your Arsenal. Have I got it here? Oh, I can't reach it. Like I've got my Bill Chrisman ball. I'm basically never going to drill that.
Post of the
I didn't buy it because of that. I bought it because I fancied one.
Who is the coach that can help you lengthen your follow through?
Don't know. Get longer arms.
Well, this is probably not far off. It's probably why I've worked with two guys that are pretty strong between Benoit and Baker.
I think he means strap in.
Well, I hope so. You're the worst.
Hey Zymo, I'm sure everybody enjoys having a conversation with you as long as they're not being called dick face. Oh dear.
Eric Cross fixed my timing at the end of summer. Him and Andy Schneebolt up there and Jax, I think they do a nice job up there. So, yeah, there's a lot of things. And Rick is much more organic like that and lets you evolve and talk about how you know, he focuses a lot on playing the lanes and at a certain level, then it's your job to kind of figure out how to create that shape versus because how you and I create similar shapes are very different because of where we start from.
I think it's the hardest thing about bowling doubles. when you first start, because it's like, the guy will ask you. Frankie did that to me a little bit. Like, he'd say, well, what do you think I should do? And I was like, I think you should make the ball go longer, was how it's got to now. Like, but for a long time, it was like, well, can't you rotate it a bit more? Well, I'm rotating it a bit more on that lane or whatever. Yeah. And then it becomes, you realize quickly that it's like, this isn't a productive conversation. Like, I need the ball to go further down the lane on that lane, Frank. You do whatever you think you need to do that. And then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll do that then, And that part of it, I think, is where Rick thrives. Because I think that he is, I do feel like when, and maybe it's just because of our experiences, but I think that Rick's home run is when the person has a decent amount of skill set and he's like explaining to you how you can get the best out of your skill set. That's what I enjoyed chatting to him about.
Yeah.
And people might see that as a negative, and it's not, because there's not as many people filled that void. There's way more people who can help you get from, like, not as good to way better. There's way less people who can help you get from really good to great. Like that group is real lonely. Simon says, well, don't give me advice I already knew, and I won't call you that.
To be fair, when we're bowling, sometimes it does appear like we don't seem to know. It's been pointed out to me that maybe, although I think I know it, I am not actually doing it. So, Gene Backlund, yeah, thank you. He's on the senior tour. One of the nicest guys out there. I appreciate the compliment.
I also think, just going back on that, like, when you're around, like, bowling the senior tour is like being like having a stroll through the Hall of Fame. The amount of times, and trust me and Dom have done this with my co-host here. The amount of times that if you just go up and ask the guy, for some help, or, hey, can I buy you a drink? I've got a couple of, a couple of thoughts that I want to run by you. You have to be a real dick like Mika to say no.
Yeah. Well, basically, as long as they like you.
And I'm using Mika as an example because he definitely told me and Dom no.
He knew what you guys were up to.
I've seen this movie before.
I was just so arrogant that I felt like if I shared with you, it wouldn't matter.
Yes, exactly. Maybe it's just an American thing.
It's come around the other way now. Now I'm asking you guys.
Yeah, Adam, I I knew he'd still be watching. The thing was, Mika understood the game that me and Dom were playing. He's like, yeah, I got better by asking questions. I'm not giving you we're not giving you the step up here, boys. It was fun bowling the Weber Cup with him, though, because he just opened up that little bit, and then we pumped him for as much information as we could get.
Oh, yeah, a few guys, you got him lubed up. And this is a guy who gave some information, and he was great at psychologically getting you into a place to succeed.
Nobody rides that horse down the back stretch like Timmy. Like, Timmy can get you that extra double when you need it that late on. Can make you feel like you're King Kong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody's going to say that that's almost like that's an insult or whatever. It's 100% not.
No.
Adam, I just don't know that our $300 ball for practice is the go. Like,
yeah, I plugged one out of the shop. It's fine to practice.
And you won't get a discount on the pink absolute. You can't buy those as pro ships. You can only buy them off Storm's website on, I think it's Tuesday they're going up. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be on Labor Day. So
I
like it. I'm going to have a lot of fun at the Texas games when Arch when they turn on Arch, because the Texas fans can be a little toxic, and they spent the whole time being so sure that Arch was going to be so much better than Quinn Ewers. And I'm just looking at these guys and I go, you guys have been here for the last 10 years. They've sucked. Like, we've made the top 4 the last 2 times. Why are you so keen to replace Ewers?
Right.
But, Arch was the answer. So, like I said, I still remember the game when Arch came in and the Longhorns were up 49 to whatever. And I'm like, he's put up 7 touchdowns. And the place in the 4th quarter of garbage time went absolutely bonkers when Manning come in. I was like, do you know how much of a fuck you that is to the other guy who took you to the playoffs and put up 7 touchdowns today? It's like, oh my God. I think he's going to be great too. But I also think that being great doesn't necessarily, when you get to a higher level, doesn't necessarily mean throwing it 50 yards every time. And I think he's really good at throwing it a long way down the line.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because
OH, TX.
OH, NO.
Yeah. 01. Who do you think is going to win this weekend, Dombrowski? Oh, dear. Texas football's back.
Yeah, you see his legs. He has to be the fastest Manning ever. That bar is not exceptionally high. That's like somebody coming onto this show and go, "I'm the fastest one in this podcast." Well, yeah. You could finish the race. That's a good start.
Oh, look, coming on from the sidelines, from the cheap seats. The people with less, what is it? Less 10-win seasons in the SEC than Texas. We've only been here 1 year. Was it 12 wins? I forget now. God, the Texas A&M, God, their fans have such a high regard for how good they are. They suck. And I used to I like the Johnny Manziel Texas A&M. It's been all downhill since then. Hard to tell week 1. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really know what college kids, high school kids.
I do think it's kind of I think it's hard to tell any week in college, just because, like you're saying, who was prepared to be perfect every day when they were like 18, 19, and 20? Like, it's just totally unrealistic. I mean, it's like when you're watching and like all of the hate that Lamar Jackson's had. And the guy's like young. He was like last year, he was still younger than quarterbacks being drafted the same year. That year
Right.
that he was playing, he's like a 2-time MVP of the league, and he throws an interception and he's like 24, and they're all going nuts like it's the end of the world.
Yeah, he got too good, so now he's got to be bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a bit the same with Ryan. Like, he made all these TV shows, and it was like super crazy that like a guy who wasn't even really bowling 5 years ago is now like making multiple TV shows, and then everybody's killing him because he bowled a bad game on TV. It's like, are we joking? like really, are we joking? Like,
Yep.
why is everybody like,
Yeah.
and it's just, it's just a strange world we live in.
At 20 years old, if your girlfriend breaks up with you, the chances of you having a 2-interception game are probably not great. unless you're a quarterback.
Yeah.
It's just it's just
Chris, you were my childhood hero. I'll be honest, he doesn't look like he's 22, Chris. Chris is my childhood hero too.
Screw both you guys. All right.
I came back to bowling in March and I rolled 308.13. You were an Aaron inspiration. Yeah, he's awesome. He says he's 38. My man. Oh, you were
I
bouncing up
appreciate
on your dad's knee when Chris took down the TOC.
that was late. That was like 2005. Uh,
Yeah, so well,
I was
38.
his age. I was 35. It was 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago. So he was
He's in
18.
high school. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Oh dear.
Oh god, man, it's good to be back. Um, so other coaches, anything? uh,
Uh,
so are we rooming next year on the senior tour? You kicking Meek out? Oh, shut up.
I love it.
That's
Oh
only
my
because I was
god.
finished college before he got there. The Vegas school system. He was like 23 when he got out. The only kid that's going to be older than him when he graduates is going to be my son. Not Ryan.
Oh god.
Yeah, no shit, right? Thanks, man. Deep dive for a compliment
Oh,
here. The Paul Wolf School of
Oh man,
School of Hard Knocks.
this has really made my morning. I'm so glad the way we've oh dear. Oh my god.
Yeah, was that Atari? You know, yeah. Just go ahead and throw that in there too.
Commodore 64. I was either Chris or Wes Malott. Man, it must have been a young Wes Malott. Wes isn't that much older than me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think he's eligible next year.
What, for the 50 tour?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
With as many games as you guys bowl, I think he might that might
Yeah,
not be the best.
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of games on that last day. Couch has been screaming from the rooftops about less games.
Do you think it's fun? Guy who's as good as Couch, who bowled as well as Couch for as long as Couch, yelling that you should bowl less games.
Ironically, about when his knees stopped being able to work for, 10, 12, 15 games a day.
I had harsh reality roll identical to proton physics, so as soon as the official reality comes in, I'm in. Okay. Sounds good, Adam. Thanks for the super chat again, I guess.
Which is better, mullet or PBA 50? Well,
it's difficult to know which was making more money.
Probably mullet.
Mullet, Chris Barnes, yeah.
That was tax. That was bracket tax-free money.
Tax-free money. I always remember the story about Devaney telling me about the first time they ran brackets in like 95 in Reno, and they had like a key ring with all the locker keys on it. And I go, "What did you have locker keys?" He goes, "We had cash stuffed in all of the lockers till it was full because we had nowhere to put it because all the brackets were cash." And he goes, "And we didn't leave." And he goes, "And would you want to take a bag of cash outside of Reno?" So they had lockers with cash in them.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
Never thought of that. All right.
Wow. Oh dear.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I needed a couple better friends back then.
I don't know.
But hey, that's not it. Of course, I couldn't afford once I bought them. I owned them for 2 years, no matter what, because I couldn't afford another pair.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, anybody out there who wears glasses, check out Costco. It is wildly cheaper than everywhere else for glasses. Wildly. To the point at which I ended up buying Tina's mom a Costco membership, and it was still a couple of $100 cheaper for her couple of pairs of glasses, including the membership. Yeah. YouTube has decided to pop up some older TV shows. I.e. Chris shooting 300 on Shark and Stu Bowl in the World Championships. Yeah, I mean, surprised that World Championship show wasn't in black and white. It's nice seeing folks. It's nice not seeing urethane. Yes. Yes.
Thelmo, Mika, and Sean were on that show. It wasn't that long ago.
No, I was talking about me.
On the World Championship?
Yeah, I was
It's
just
all
laughing.
about the same time.
Yeah.
Might have been
I
the
think
same
mine
year.
was 14 or 15, that particular one. Yeah, the year that I won, I actually finished 4th in the qualifying, and that was the year they did the 16-man show, so I got absolutely fucked. Because I got my own bracket and I ended up with like Oscar and Dom.
Ugh.
In that, bowl one, drop out. Whereas I would have been, oh my God, the worst possible scenario was 5th. Cool. I was like 12th or something because of it. Yeah, they do some decent deals. Although, check out my man if you're in Texas, Mark Busher. He's the man for hearing aids.
Oh yeah, true that.
So, any advice for a first-time assistant coach for high school bowling club? For me, I think that some of the fundamentals, but getting people to understand and have a system for how they're going to shoot spares is going to be for that type of scenario. People having a good time, of course, but if they've got any sort of like level, having them understand so they don't have to think about it or do something different, having them understand where they're going to stand to shoot some spares. Yeah, Tyler says same thing, spare system. Because, no matter how good you are, spares is always going to end up helping.
Yeah,
so
no 17-year-old is great at spares yet. They just aren't.
No.
Some of them strike a lot and don't have to shoot as much. But yeah, the other thing is go to Mark Baker Bowling, and he's got a couple of good videos that can help you. You'll learn how to coach better, both one-handers and two-handers. He has one for each. But there's a book if you're into reading. If not, that video. The book is The System, but they're both on his website, and they'll both help you basically learn some of the things to look for, and help you coach up those kids.
Adam had a quick question. He's asked a couple of super chats. So I want to
Yeah, 100%.
I personally don't like urethane, but I do like the control. Which ball would be better for this? We see this quite a lot. And it might be a very topical show, depending on which direction it goes.
Yeah.
For me, it really depends, Adam, on what you're bowling on and how much oil there is. I kind of like using sort of lower pins, shorter pins, on solid balls, and it can depend on how much speed you have, whether you do that with a symmetrical ball or a asymmetrical ball. But you'd be surprised, like a 3-inch pin, something with sort of a stronger cover, and like a cove, for example, with a 3-inch pin, you might see quite, especially on the left side, you might see quite a lot of control out of that, especially if you didn't go too high, to make it flare out quick. If you go a little lower, bit of a longer pin buffer. Yeah. I mean, obviously you can only have a 3-inch pin buffer with a 3-inch pin, but don't like go to a 1-inch pin buffer type of deal.
No, and I think we may end up going back to some of those old, you're not going to be able to put the giant hole on the axis, but you can really kick those CGs way out to flatten out the reaction and do some of that stuff that we really don't do because urethane covers up this giant demographic of smooth for a lot of players. And so, but balls like Cove, Tour Dynamics is a ball from the past that would, should get instantly remade if that's the case.
Another ball that I think kind of went under the radar that I think could be quite good is Sublime Focus, and you might actually be able to get a couple of those on discount. That had quite a strong cover, and if you get the right layout on that, you can kind of make that sort of more forward and like controllable. And also don't be afraid about adding a little more surface to the balls once you've gone there, because what you're trying to do is you're kind of trying to get them to burn up, organically, so to speak. And then,
and stay smooth.
go from there. Part of the reason why those balls have disappeared is because urethane lays so much oil down the lane that when you have a ball that burns up, you kind of need dry down the lane for it to be able to hit. And once there's oil down the lane, it's
Yeah, then it doesn't. You're not trying to control the back end anymore. You actually need it to get through it. So, Charlie, if you don't know, I don't know how we would. So.
I like the IQ Tour solid. The only thing I don't like about that ball is I feel like the cover is a little too responsive sometimes. So, yeah, I just feel like you end up with something that is a little bit. It doesn't have a predictable front to back. You want something that's going to give you a big speed miss, because that's what you're really getting with urethane. You're getting a big speed miss. Like, the front to back, you've got a big window to hit for it to make the same motion. And like for me, IQ Tours they're a little bit too responsive for doing that.
Pulled a duo autographed Chris Barnes autographed Leaf bowling card last night. Well, I'm glad you think. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it.
I was about to say, is this Rob Gottschall's burner account? Rob pulled one of those also and was attempting to sell it to Chris.
we were asking for what was it, the LBC team event?
Yeah, we dominated the LBC team event for our $200 or whatever it was we got back. So yeah. Has anybody got their check from Nationals yet? I'm just wondering.
Have not, but okay. No, that card that's very cool. I was happy that we'll have one of those at some point. And as I write off, who signed it first? That's we actually sign a sheet and then they apply it. It's kind of odd. I was about
to say,
yeah.
I know that Chris got paid more for his signature than Ryan did. Might be the last time that happens.
There's a few things left where you get paid for what you've done, and not always recently.
Yeah.
Leaf trading cards, right? That's where you can buy them now.
Yeah. My boy Jared opened a box. Jared Polin. Spent the whole time saying he wanted to draw a Stu Williams card. He gets an AJ Johnson card, and he's like, "No, what do I want this for?" He goes, "I like you, AJ. Just don't want your card." You got a Richie T's card. You got a Jared. You got a Thomas Keiko card. He was quite upset by his because you only get 4 cards, I think, in a box.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
anyway. Wow.
Yikes. I've got.
Yeah, this is what Stu was just saying a minute ago. Why not use a short pin with a little surface as an alternative?
Got my Heath Bell card right there. Made out for me. Happy birthday, Stu.
PBA cards, the new Pokemon cards, except way more rare. So short pin layout with little surface as an alternative to urethane. Yeah, it is an alternative to urethane, but like Stu just said, once the urethane carries the oil down lane, those short pins, what they do is they mitigate the back end and kind of control the back end, which is fresh. Once the urethane gets oil down there, then they won't hook out of it. And now they just don't hook enough. And so they go away really fast. So Believe me, I've tried several times over the last 8 or 10 years, and
And every time he does it, the ball rep goes, "What a waste of a ball."
that was, yeah. But most of the time, you're drilling balls that are smoother and balls that guys aren't trying to drill anyway. So
Yeah, no,
uh,
100%.
yeah,
But they always just look like,
just a waste of $40 is what that was.
what's he doing? Why is he doing this to himself?
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
all right.
all right. Well, thanks for joining us. By this time Tuesday, Stu will be
In England,
across the pond. So, I guess he may or may not join us, depending on how timing and everything works out.
Mhm.
But in any case, between now and then, please let's try that again. Please support the sponsors that support us: Storm, Rotogrip, Niner Global, Cool Wick, Bowler Smart, Firelight Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and of course, Platinum Forward. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.
See you later, guys. Thank you.